And welcome back to the Smart Mark Time Machine as we continue our dangerous game with time and space in the wrestling world. Previously, if you're new to the series, what we have done is we have gone back to 1985. We have then intervened and stopped Magnum T.A. from getting in the horrific car accident that ends his wrestling career. And we have seen what has happened to the pro wrestling industry as a result. And the ripples of this rock have not been small. We have seen the death of Promotions 3, the World Wrestling Federation, the American Wrestling Association, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. As a result, Jim Crockett Promotions has become the one-stop shop for basically every top-level talent in the wrestling business. If we take a look at what their roster looks like, it is unfathomable. We have Roddy Piper, we have Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Magnum T.A, Greg Valentine feels out of place on that list, Tito Santana, Tommy Rich, Eddie Gilbert, Paul Orndorff, Adrian Adonis, Vince McMahon is working for Jim Crockett Promotions here, Ted DiBiase, Ricky Steamboat, Bob Backlund, Road Warrior Animal, Rick Rude, Sergeant Slaughter, Rhodes, where we're going, we don't need roads. A good time travel reference, but we also have Dusty Rhodes here on the roster, as well as Jim Neidhart, Ivan Koloff, and so on and so forth. By far, Jim Crockett Promotions is the biggest wrestling company in the world. We also have Jerry Lawler in here somewhere, who is the current NWA World Heavyweight Champion, which reminds me of the second point. We have seen tremendous individual rises and falls. Rises and falls. We have seen people like Jerry Lawler, Jake Roberts, Roddy Piper, Tully Blanchard end up with sizable NWA World Heavyweight Championship runs. We've seen our boy, Magnum T.A, take two reigns, both about the length of a cup of coffee. One was 2 weeks, one was about a couple of months. But he has had two world title reigns. We've even seen Slick Ric Flair himself end up with a second run, I think, for a total of 6 or 7 runs. He now has with a title. So we've seen tremendous rises. But we've also seen people held back. If I say names like Randy Savage, who never made it to be what he could be and should have been. We take a look at the Ultimate Warrior, Sting, Lex Luger to a degree at this point. These are names that should have been world champions by now and have been held back as a result. They have not become what they were in a world where Titan Tower still exists. So what we're going to do this episode is we are now January 1st, 1993. We are going to roll this through all the way to January 1st, 1995 in this episode. We're going to start by jumping to Great American Bash, see where everything lies at that point. But first, I got to hit the intro. All right, it's a big news day. Apparently, Jerry Lawler's got a herniated disc. Is he still the world champion, though? That is the question. Randy Savage re-signing with JCP. Why not? Everybody else is here. May as well stick around. Rick Rude is hurt with a sublingual hematoma. He'll miss a few days. Oh, that's not too bad at all. Tough. No elevated liver enzymes here. I just saw if you haven't checked him out, Wrestling with Regret. Is his name Adam? No, it can't be Adam. What's his name? Anyway, he was reviewing Brian Zane. That's it, Brian Zane. And he was reviewing the Great American Bash, where everybody got elevated liver enzymes. And I had to change up. It's a good watch. Give it a go. Wrestling with Regret. That's Regret with a W. W-R-E-G. R-E-T. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's the gimmick. All right, let's take a look here at the Bash. And we had Roddy Piper defeat Eric Embry. Oh, I didn't see who the man... We'll see if we can guess who the man of the show was. Michael Hayes defeated Tito Santana. The heavyweight. I thought he was the world champion. Not defended on this. Hogan and Magnum T.A. as buddies, defeating Ric Flair and Rick Rude. What a match that would be. A contender for match of the year at 99. Backlund and Khrushchev. Blanchard and Khrushchev. Backlund and Buddy Rose. Orndorff and Cologne. Adrian Adonis defeated Savage. Any other names I want to look at? Dino Bravo's over here now. I thought he was in Mid-South, maybe. And Dynamite Kid has made his way from New Japan. Lots of big names at JCP. It is the gold standard. It is NXT when NXT had everybody. When NXT had Finn Balor and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe. Massive. Massive. All right, let's take a look then and see. First off, who is the world's heavyweight champion? We got to figure that out. So let's take a look at. Last we saw it was Jerry Lawler. So let's start the look there. Is it still Jerry? Is it good to be the king? He does not hold any titles, so he's dropped it. Who's he dropped it to is the question. A lot of AWA Southern Heavyweight, 20 AWA Southern Heavyweight Championship reigns. My word, Jerry. My word. NWA World Heavyweight dropped in May 93. Let's see if we can figure out what that would have. I do that every time. What would it have been? May 93. Only title matches. May 93. Magnum T.A. defeated Jerry Lawler to win the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. Is he still the man, though? That's 3 reigns now for Magnum. 3 reigns. The question is, did he hold on to it? He's known for short reigns. Let's have a look-see, shall we? So, not Jerry Lawler, but Magnum. There he is, T.A. World Heavyweight Champion. So that must have been one heck of a tag team feud for him not to put his belt on the line. But match history, if we look at title matches, who are you defending that strap against? You have defeated. Magnum T.A. defeated Lawler, Flair, Buddy Rose, Adrian Adonis, and Masanobu Kurisu in All Japan. So going all over, fighting champion. So far has been champ for, I don't know, about just over 2 months, maybe. So that is interesting. Let's take a look at the rest of the roster then, shall we, companies? We've got JCP. Let's start there. The gold standard. Number 1 in the world. We've got, what do we have here? We got titles, and we've got the United States Championship, Michael PSAs. The 6-man tag is there. The World Tag Team Champions, Tito and Crusher Khrushchev. And the television champion is Bob Backlund. So, is Hogan still here? Flair still here? Magnum still here? Tully is still here. Randy, yeah, it's a heck of a working group. Let's look at Mid-South. They were the number 2 last time we checked, and they still are number 2. Let's look at their title, shall we? We've got Kevin Von Erich as the North American. The tag team, Steve Kieran and Stan Lane. And their South Television champion is Tony Atlas. He's just got to laugh like that, doesn't he? Let's take a look next at World Class, who are number 4 in the world. Look at their titles. A lot of Von Erich. Tully Blanchard working double duty there. We got Kerry Von Erich as the 7-time American Heavyweight Champion. The tag teams, Condrey and Eaton. Brass Knucks, Nikolai Volkov. Texas Heavyweight, Terry Gordy. Jay Youngblood. And the 6-man tag you see there. Is Bret Hart still here? I do not see him. He's officially made the jump to 1 and only. And I'm guessing All Japan must be even number 3. Yes, they are. So we'll take a look at that. And maybe we'll take a look at Eastern Championship Wrestling, see what they're starting up there. But titles in All Japan, we've got Kido and Harada as the tag team champs. The junior heavyweight, Mando Guerrero. The international heavyweight is CN Caras. And United National is Greg Gagne. Oh, jeez. Turn back the clock. What else have we got going on here? Let's just finish up by looking at Eastern Championship Wrestling. Ranked 7th. Says they're tiny. Ranked 7th. Pat Patterson's a major star. He's the booker The Booker of Eastern Championship Wrestling. How about that? Cactus Jack. Bob Holly. Anybody else worth noting? Sting. Yeah, Todd Gordon's in there somewhere. Let's take a look at their titles. Do I even want to know? World Heavyweight, Muhammad Saad. World Tag Team, Cactus Jack and Rick McGraw. And the television champion is George South. We'll keep an eye on them with great. Bob Holly, the original ECW television champion. How about that? The initial ECW heavyweight champion was Tony Gurria, followed by Brad Batten and Muhammad Saad. Oh, this is not going well. And then the tag champions, you can see him there. All right, so that has been fun. Let's jump ahead now to Starrcade. We'll see how things are going there, and we'll catch up at that point. All right, and Starrcade at the Meadowlands in New Jersey drew over 20,000 fans. The show's getting fantastic reviews. Let's try that in English, shall we? The show is getting fantastic reviews, and the star of the show was Hulk Hogan, if you can imagine that. Let's take a look at Starrcade. Magnum T.A. defeated Roddy Piper to retain the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. It took till 1993, but they're finally doing our boy right. Hogan and Buddy Rose defeated Flair and Rotunda in a match of a night. What else do we have here? The Can-Am Connection defeated the Heavy Smokers by DQ for the World Tag Team titles. Adrian Adonis defeats Michael Hayes for the United States Heavyweight Championship. This is putting 93. That's WrestleMania 9 plus, almost coming up on 10. And Adrian Adonis is still a big deal. There we go. So while some people aren't getting their start, other people are sticking around longer than we remember. Paul Orndorff defeated Randy Savage. Thinking that Savage might be deserving of a little bit better. All right, let's take a look then at JCP and where things sit. We know who's got the World Heavyweight Championship, so we don't need to worry about that very much. It is our boy Magnum T.A, number 4 on the list here. Number 4 on the list. And number 3 on the list on this side. But he is the man they're all behind. He is the face that runs the place. Everybody out of the way. It's not Magnum P.I., it's Magnum T.A., which is 100% what he was named after. He was named after Tom Selleck. If I'm smart enough, I'll put a graphic here for Tom Selleck, and you can see the comparisons they were going for. All right. So, other champs, just to make sure that we understand, we've got Adrian Adonis, the 6-man tag, Coco Z-Man and Rick Martel, the tag team champs, Tito and Krista Khrushchev, and the television championship, Starship Coyote, who you might know better as Scott Hall. There is no Razor Ramon, so he is Starship Coyote. Wow. That is insane. And he's the television champion. Maybe getting some love. Maybe the NWO is still doable. Hey, yo. Pour one out for Scott Hall. Let's do the other ones. We know what the big stuff is. We do. There's not really much else. There's no other big companies to really check in on. I mean, I can check in on All Japan and see who's got their big belt, but that's really about it. Well, I guess they're part of the NWA as well. So the international heavyweight is still Cien Caras, but really that's kind of where we're at. So this is the world. It's a smaller world. Waiting for someone to sort of fight away. East Coast Wrestling Association. Hey, yo, Scott Hall's here too under his given name. So Scott Hall's getting some love, doing all right. Let's take a look at Eastern Championship Wrestling, shall we? So not 6th like East Coast Wrestling, but 7th. Little tiny ECW. No one else really joined it by, very small. There's more down here. Sting doing his thing. Sting's getting a few matches in there. A few matches. They've already jumped ahead to the Extreme Championship Wrestling pay-per-views. We'll leave those be for now. Sting enters wrestling. When did he enter wrestling? So he sat around for 7 years. He got a year and he was hired by Deep South. And then because because the promotions, I'm guessing, are so jam-packed full, there was no spot for him? Man, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. What about Cactus? Mick Foley. There we are. Quick jump. All right. Foley's doing okay. His popularity's very low. But yeah, he's also getting some love. His match ratings are climbing to the 40s. He'll be okay. He'll be okay. So let's go ahead now and jump forward to the end of 1993. Let's check out the end of year awards, shall we? So all the way to January 1st, 94, and we'll see what's going on there. All right, it's 1989 all over again, as Magnum T.A. is the #1 wrestler in the world in 1990. Well, for the year 1993. Company of the Year, JCP. Team of the Year, we've got Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert. Match of the Year, Hulk Hogan defeating Ric Flair. Well, that will do it, won't it? Show of the Year, Starrcade. Young Wrestler of the Year, Dustin Rhodes. Who's he wrestling with these days? He is with JCP. Of course he is. Veteran Wrestler of the Year, Ric Flair. Woo! Female Wrestler, Chigusa Nagayo. Most Improved Company, Mid-South. Independent Wrestler of the Year, Eddie Gilbert. He's pretty hot stuff. Manager of the Year, El Supremo again. Announcer of the Year, Jim Ross. And color commentator, Bobby the Brain Heenan. All right, so let's take a look at some of the specifics around the biz, shall we? So if we look at, first things first, is Magnum held on to the strap. That's the big one. Magnum has There it is. Magnum T.A. is still the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Huzzah. So if we go over here now to the companies and we look at JCP, we can see that their champions are Adrian Adonis, Coco, Rick, and Tom Zenk. Rick and Tom Zenk. And Starship Coyote. Gotta love that. Hey, yo. We've got, for World Class, the champions are probably the same as they were last time. Oh, Jake Roberts is the American Heavyweight Champion. Well done, Jake. Glad to see he's not gone. Mid-South and World Class. He's looking in rough shape in that photo. I'll say that much. Geez, whoever did that, this sim or mod was not kind. Buzz Sawyer and Matt Bourne, clowning around. Kendall Windham. Steve Armstrong, Texas Heavyweight, Television Champion, Dr. Tom, Brother Tom. And six-man tag champs. There you have it. Don Morocco, still a thing in 1993. How is that even possible? How is that possible? Mid-South, #2 wrestling company in the world. Tatsumi Fujinami comes over. That's a big deal. Kerry Von Erich, Steve Kernstein Lane, Mike Rotunda in the big spots. And we'll check out All Japan just to get our top 4 where they should be. Kido and Harada. Mando Guerrero still. That's a cup. CN Karras and Greg Gagne. Nothing's really changing over there. Let's check out ECW just for kicks and giggles. Anybody? Not really. Rick McGraw's the champ. Eddie McQueen, Action Jackson, and Mac Jefferson as the television champion. Come on, Cactus. Come on, Mick Foley. We're pulling for you. Okay, let's take a look at the top 500 one more time. We'll look at some of the big ones there. Magnum T.A., #1, Hulk Hogan, #2, Ric Flair, #3, Piper, #4. There's your 4 pillars. 1 from 3, 2 from 1, 3 from 4, 4 from 2. There's your 4 pillars of the wrestling biz. Everybody else is a different tier. Anybody who I should be making, Scott Hall at 15. That's pretty. 119 wins, 58 losses. That just means 177 matches in 1993. You have earned every spot of that top 15 rating. Well done. Ricky Steamboat at 23. Randy Savage at 26. Dynamite Kid at 27. Ted DiBiase at 28. Back doing the wrestling thing after taking a little bit of time off. Bret Hart, 35, which means he's down from 26. I mean, he's just floating around that spot, isn't he? This should be, now this WrestleMania 10 would be in April. So this really is supposed to be the start of the Bret Hart era, but there's no other company for him to go. So we're in a situation here. Anybody else want to look at Kurt Hennig? 73. He's one who hasn't really had a chance to do much as a result of the company being the way it is. Larry Zbyszko. Hey, Dustin Rhodes. Yowza. And then I'll just scan to 100, and that's about it. So let's go ahead again now to the Great American Bash and see where we're at. And we're at the Great American Bash. As it says, MVP of the show was Hulk Hogan. 23,000 fans. That is considerable. Let's take a look at the card. We see Magnum T.A. defeated Ric Flair in the main event. I don't see any mention of the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. We see that Hulk Hogan and Starship Coyote, a.k.a. Hey Y'all, are a tag team now, and they defeated Michael Hayes and Tito Santana. No tag belts there because those are with Nightwatch. Tully Blanchard and Rick Rude defeating Eric Embry and Road Warrior Hawk. So Road Warrior Hawk's here. I think Road Warrior Animals in JCP as well, but they're not a tag team together. So let's have a look and see what is going on with Magnum. JCP, and then we go ahead and we look at Magnum, still fourth on the docket here. Not the world's heavyweight champion anymore. Where did he lose this one? He had from May 93 to almost a full year, April 94. Let's take a quick look and see, and I'm going to learn from my mistakes, and I'm going to go to match history, not title history at this point, and then I'm going to look for title matches. And it is Ric Flair defeated Magnum T.A. So didn't Magnum just defeat Ric Flair in a non-title match when Ric Flair, we think, has the strap? Well, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? Ric Flair is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. So for all that talk I made about a couple of things. Number one, that Magnum T.A. was only getting a cup of coffee. He had a 2-week reign, then like a 3-month reign, then he had an 11-month reign. So he's done okay. We have solved history and fixed the career. But we said that Ric Flair was becoming kind of an afterthought, that it normalized other people having the belt. And actually what we're seeing is that Ric has had the world title now 7 times. 7 times. And he's had this to present. He's at 17 defenses. So a 7-time NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. It's a pretty good number, all things considered. So, not really too much else to look at. Let's just confirm that they are number one. Let's just confirm that. Let's see how ECW is doing. It's been a kind of a fun little thing to take a look. Eastern Championship Wrestling. Let's take a look at the title situation, shall we? So, the World Heavyweight title, Eddie Walker. This has been a rough group. The tag team, George South and Bob Holly. And then the television champion, Bill Mulkey. Let's see if Cactus Jack is still on the list here. He is. And how's he doing? Cactus is progressing. Got a lot of basics down pretty well. The athleticism, that's going to be a while there. There, kid. It's not going to get there necessarily right off the cuff. All right, so we'll see how that happens. He's 20. He's got time. Let's jump ahead to Starrcade and see what's going on there. And it's becoming a little bit old hat, but stop me if you've heard it before. Starrcade was held last night. It was awesome. Hulk Hogan was the star of the show. Let's take a look. Ric Flair defeated Hulk Hogan to retain the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. Well, that's pretty... that sounds like a decent Starrcade in 1994. Where's our boy Magnum T.A. defeated Steve McMichael? It's a far cry from the previous year where he headlined it. Roddy Piper defeated Carlos Colon. Retire, old man. Retire. Buddy Rose defeated Dynamite Kid to retain the NWA United States Championship. Can-Am Connection defeated Khrushchev and Bruiser Brody in a cage match. Bruiser Brody, we have saved more than one life with the sim. Ricky Steamboat in a tag match. Oh, sorry, 6-man tag down the card. Is what it is. Let's go ahead. We'll jump to the end of the year, and we'll give out some hardware, some awards, and we'll look at the PWI 500 before we go. And hear me out now. I'm thinking our little experiment has done more than rescue Magnum T.A. It's done more than kill off the WWF and the AWA. I think our little experiment has rehabilitated Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan. I think he's been in JCP now for what, 3 years? 4 years? Maybe coming up on 5 years? And he hasn't had the world's heavyweight championship. I say, now this could all go wrong if I click and he's the new world champion. But I think he's just been there to strengthen others and put them over in a way not seen in, at least in our prime timeline, since Shawn Michaels' return. And even he had that awkward 1 month reign with the first Elimination Chamber. I think Hogan is a reformed individual. I think Magnum T.A.'s existence has humbled Hulk Hogan into a team player. Now let's take a look and see if everything I'm coming up with is crap. All right, so Wrestler of the Year, Hulk Hogan, for the 4th time. He won it in 1992. So Hogan wins it in even years? I want to think Hogan won it in 90 and 92. We'll check that in a minute. Company of the Year, of course, it's JCP. They got everybody. Team of the Year is Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert. Match of the Year, Hulk Hogan defeating Michael Hayes. Show of the Year, Starrcade. Young Wrestler is Richard Slinger. I must admit, I do not know who this is. Richard Slinger, All Japan Pro Wrestling. I know nothing about him. Any alter ego? No alter egos. I have no idea who this is. But he's ranked number 93 in the world. So there you go. Veteran Wrestler of the Year is Rossi. Oh, that's Female Wrestler of the Year. Rossi Moreno. Never heard of her. Veteran Wrestler of the Year. Woo! Ric Flair. Ric Flair. Is he still the world's heavyweight champion? We will find out. He'll never retire. Most Improved Company of the Year. Mid-South, again. Independent Wrestler of the Year. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, back-to-back years. Manager, is it El Supremo? It is El Supremo. 4 years on the trot. Announcer of the Year. Jim Ross. 4 years on the trot? Yeah, 4 years on the trot. And color commentator, is it Bobby Heenan? No, it's Jesse Ventura, my personal favorite. So there we go. Let's look at who's the world's heavyweight champion. Let's find that out, shall we? Let's start with, is it him? It is him. So Ric Flair has been holding this belt now, April 94 until now. So a good 8-9 months for Ric Flair. So that's a well done on Slick Rick's part. There we go. Anybody else in the Hall of Immortals, the Hall of Fame? El Santo and Lou Thez are the only ones who are there as far as the legend of everything. Other groups have their own halls of fame, but only as far as the industry-wide. Maybe it's like the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, if you will. What else do we have here? Let's go annual awards just so I can see if Hogan, I'm right. 94, 92, 90. Yeah. So Hogan wins in even years. Other people get a shot on the odd years. Oh, Magnum T.A. 88 before he did it again in 93. I forgot about Fujinami. All right. No, thank you. Let's go back here. Let's check out the scene as it currently sits, shall we? So we go with, I've done that twice now. Good for me. We go to JCP. And we see that we got Piper and Hogan and Flair and Magnum T.A. Michael Hayes is climbing up the roster here. Dusty, Ricky Steamboat, no Bret Hart. Look at that. Ayo. Yeah, I don't know what else to say here. It's the most stacked roster in the history of wrestling, I think. And that's even more than the Here Comes the Pain lineup of 2003, 2004. Titles, we've got Buddy Rose as the United States Heavyweight Champion. How old is Buddy Rose at this point? 42. Oh, he's only 42. He aged young. Six-man tag, we've got Rick Steiner, Ricky Steamboat, and Italian Stallion. Don't know who that is. World Tag Team, Rick Martel and Tom Zenk still. They've had it going for a while, 109 days. And the television title, Ricky Steamboat. Giddy up there. Well done, Ricky. It's not quite the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, but it'll do. Let's go to Mid-South here. How's Bret Hart doing? Is he holding the title yet? Manny Fernandez, North American. Tag team, Brad Armstrong, Tim Horner, and Jerry Oates as the television champion. 45. He, again, looks older than he is, but maybe it's a black and white photo. Or it's not maybe a black and white. Maybe that's the effect of the black and white photograph. World-class titles there. We've got Gino Hernandez with the heavyweight championship. Condrey and Eaton feel like they've had it forever. And by that, I mean 37 days. Oh, they've had, is it 11 reigns? Wow, that's 11 reigns. So 12-time champions, Dennis Condrey and Bobby Eaton. That is insane. If you think about the number of times they've had the belts even during the Sim. I mean, the Sim we got back to, have they all happened during the Sim? That would be insane. Where are we at? 1985. Okay, so Dennis Condrey and Bobby, all the reigns have been during the Sim. That is, wow, 12-time champions. Steve Armstrong as the Brass Knucks champion. Texas heavyweight, Hector Guerrero. Jimmy Golden, television champion. And J. Blood, Bobby Jaggers, and Ted DiBiase doing some six-man tag stuff. Let's look at EC. Let's go to All Japan, and then we'll do ECW on the way out. All Japan, the championships go to El Mexicano, is the junior heavyweight champion. The national tag champion, Mosco de la Merced, and Ben Basarab. I never knew how to say this name. Basarab. All Japan, that's right, and NWA International Heavyweight, Masanobu Kurisu. And then if we just take a quick look at Eastern Championship Wrestling, we would see that Eddie Walker remains the World Heavyweight Champion. The Tag Team Champions, Eddie McQueen and Action Jackson, that's the same. And the TV Champion remains the same at Mac Jefferson. Let's take a look at some Power 500 stuff. Hulk Hogan, number 1. Roddy Piper, 2. Ric Flair, 3. Magnum T.A, 4. I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? Flair, 3-3. Piper from 4-2. Hogan from 2-1. Magnum from 1-4. I mean, these are your 4 guys. Tito, number 5. And Tito is, he's not young. He's 41. Again, why do I think they're so much older than they are? Rick Rude at 7 is really interesting because Rick Rude, I think, 1994. I mean, he's got to be early 30s? 36. Okay, I can't do the age game at all of this. But wow. It would make me happy to see Rick Rude walk away with an NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Scott Hall, hey yo. 35? 36. So there we go. Scott Hall could, it'd be great if he won a world's title as well. Never won one in real life, Scott Hall. Buddy Rose at 9. That is shocking. Tully at 10. He's not gone, not forgotten, but he is got to be the wrong side of 40, I think. 42, yeah. So anybody else? Ricky Steamboat, number 12. Dynamite Kid 17, up from 27. Bret Hart, 24, up from 35. Doing about 91 wins. I mean, this is WrestleMania 10 season. I mean, he really should be the world champion at some point soon. He's getting up there. He is. I mean, these are some great matches. If he ever made the jump and could get booked in the main event, that's the problem. I mean, how many bodies to climb over? What he needs is Ric Flair to go over to Mid-South and drop the belt over there. I don't know how often that's happening. It doesn't look like Brett's ever had a chance at the big strap. I'm just looking. I'm not seeing it. What else do we have here? Is that Dr. Def Steve Williams? It is too. 26th. Carlos Colon. Gotta be 45. 46. Kurt Hennig. 48, up from 73. Again, lots of good numbers here in Mid-South. Lots of good numbers. Kevin Von Erich, Sika. Kerry Von Erich. Down from 56. Not bad. Jake Roberts, 74. Oh, it's not great. It's not great. What about Arn Anderson and all this, I wonder? I'm sure he's out here somewhere. Road Warrior Hawk, 85. Road Warrior Animal, 100. So there we more or less are. So that's where that is gone there. So that's really where we're going to leave it this episode. We are at Hulk Hogan, #1 wrestler of the year, not greedy for the gold, just using his star power to get other people over. I'm confused. He's killed the WWF. He's killed the AWA, but he's putting JCP on his back and leading them to better things. I'm absolutely stunned. I just realized one important name we got to take a look at, and is this Hogan's master plan here? Because I have not seen Steve Austin. There is Steve Austin. Where are you booked? NWC on a handshake deal. Whoo. Not rated as far as I can tell anywhere. Match history. Very few. Very few. And by 94, he should be getting some regular work. He's going to need to put some time in. He is. Austin 316. Oh, Austin wins the world title for the first time at WrestleMania 14, which means we now have... Oh, we're in 95 now. Shoot. I was 94, so Brett's already on the wrong side of WrestleMania 10. We've got 3 years and 3 months to turn Steve Austin into a main eventer. I don't see that happening. But I'm not sure that's necessarily the worst thing. Maybe it delays the start of the Attitude Era. 88. Yeah, he's just been doing a whole lot of not much. But maybe we'll see him move up, and then he's going to have to go really fast. He's always been a good hand, but is this the universe where his wife doesn't bring him his tea that's stone cold and he doesn't find that spark? I don't know. So from one all-timer to another, and we'll talk about a third in Magnum T.A. Who is the GOAT? Here's a question in the comments. Who's been the GOAT of this series so far? Is it Tully Blanchard and his 2 almost year-long reigns? Is it Ric Flair, who's had 3 reigns? I think he's the most tight. Oh, Magnum's had 3 reigns. Is Magnum the GOAT? Or can you look past Hulk Hogan and all those Wrestler of the Year awards? Can you look past Roddy Piper, who's got multiple Wrestler of the Year awards and a #1 on the Power 500? I guess that 2 #1s in the Power 500. There's a short list developing here, and I don't know who the GOAT is. Who do you think? Is there someone I'm not paying enough attention to? Let me know in the comments. And we know the past does not like to be changed. What has our moment of intervention caused in the ripples of time? Find out more next episode when we go through 1995 and 1996. I have been Ian. This is the Smart Mark Time Machine, and we'll catch you on the flippity flop where we're going. We don't need roads.